Hi, I'm Hazel, and this is a look at the Mythic Plus changes that are hitting the 7.25 PTR. That patch is most likely going live sometime in June, which means we're potentially only 4 to 6 weeks out from these changes. The first major change is no more depleted keys. They stated that they imagined keys would be harder to find than they are, and in the current climate, depleting your key is more annoying than anything else. On live servers, there's almost no reason to restore a depleted key because you can just hop in the group finder and run someone else's. So instead, they're removing the mechanic of depleting keys altogether. If you complete a run on time, it's the same as it is now. You get a new key for a random dungeon that's 1 to 3 levels higher depending on how fast you were. If you finish the dungeon but don't make the timer, you get a key for a random dungeon that's 1 level lower than the one that you just had. If you don't complete the dungeon at all, you get a keystone for the same dungeon you just tried, but downgraded 1 level. This means that you always have a live keystone to run. It also means that if you're pushing keys at the top end of your ability, you're finishing dungeons but not on time, you can continue doing that for as long as you want, ping-ponging up and down dungeons around your skill level. The next big change is the way that rewards are given out at the end of the dungeon. The intent with these changes is to make it less worth your time to stomp through keys that are too easy for you. In 7.25, completing a dungeon quickly will no longer give you additional chests. Rest in peace 2 and 3 chests. Instead, there's always going to be 1 chest at the end. If you finish the dungeon, it'll have an appropriate amount of AP and then 2 items on personal loot between 5 people. If you beat the timer, then there are 3 items between the 5 people. That means that in a best case scenario, it's a guarantee that 2 people from that run are getting no gear. This looks like a nerf to both gold and legendary chances out of Mythic Plus unless they tune those things up to compensate for the lack of extra chests. It's also a straight up nerf to loot quantity. No matter how you slice it, these changes mean less loot dropping from Mythic Plus dungeons. It's possible that Blizz wants to tone down how quickly people are able to gear up in Mythic Plus, and if that's the case, this ought to do it. It's going to be much harder for people to look for specific pieces of loot such as relics and trinkets. The intent is to get players pushing keys as high as they can, but I think what's actually going to happen is people will just do their 10 for the week, push once to raise their weekly IP bonus, and then just give it up until next week. Spamming Mythic Plus endlessly is going to be a lot less lucrative, and there's also less reason to run lower keys with your friends. The last thing that they've stated is that Keystone difficulty to cap loot item level is being raised from +10 back to +15 after Mythic Tomb of Sargeras opens. That's still quite a ways away, and the artifact power and tomb gear that will be available by then should make it a fair bit easier. Right now, 15s are doable in heroic gear, but they're definitely rough. All of these are currently PTR changes, and they are not a sure thing. This is the time for feedback, so go leave your constructive opinion in the official forum thread. I'll put a link for you in the info of this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.